back with the round of 16 of the BSL, the biggest 1v1 non-Korean Brood War tournament in the world. It's pretty cool, Nayokin.
Yeah, and we've got a massively stacked group. Like, do you know the Vince McMahon theme?
Yeah.
My actual reaction when Zero picked these groups. When I saw Kogut, I was like, okay. Then Dandy got picked. I was like, oh, okay. And then when Dewalt got picked, I was like, oh my god! Like, this group, I thought the group of death was the last round with TT1 and Dandy, but this group is nuts, man. Like, holy moly, we can actually, these are like people you see in the finals, and it's no joke because we had Dandy versus Kogut in BSL4 finals.
So not only is Dandy versus Kogut a rematch of BSL4 finals, but also we had Dandy in, like you said, the group of death, which was Dandy, Gorinich, TT1, and Yeti. Yeti's been killing it in STPL. He's the highest win rate player who was just dethroned by like Dewalt, I think. But Dandy is just a transcendent player, so I'm so happy he's been doing so well, so consistently. And this is not a guy that's like has a huge flamboyant Twitter personality, or is like this huge edgelord. He has a really solid stream. He practices and he plays just so much. He's had a lot of success here, so I could not be happier to start things out with Group A today, because this is, like you said, a group that just keeps getting crazier and crazier. Kogut, Dandy, Dewalt, and one of those players doesn't advance, Nayokin. That's the craziest thing about this group.
Yeah, and we're in round of 16. This isn't round of 8 or round of 4. Like, they're getting eliminated almost at the beginning of BSL. So this is insane.
Now, there's another cool thing that we have to talk about. If we can put up our first player introductions slide, we can actually look at some extra details about some of these awesome players that we'll be playing here today. If you're unfamiliar with a lot of the classic players that come up in every single BSL, we've got some cool slides for guys like Dandy and Kogut, and we can talk a little bit about them. Dandy is one of the best Peruvian players out there. He's a player that says he prefers to play like some 2v2s. That's his way of having fun in Brood War, but it's really fun to watch him play 1v1s too. And his favorite unit is the Vulture. She says it's the most OP unit in the game. I'm a little bit entitled to agree there, Nayokin.
Wow. I can't agree. Come on now, you can't sell.
You're not going to betray your race like that? Yeah.
You can't betray your own race. How can you put the Vulture down here and not put like the Zergling or the Defiler? Like, come on, Dandy.
I like Kogut's response to that. It's like, I don't consider any units to be overpowered. Meanwhile, the probe exists. Like, come on, man. Like, you got to be real about that. But anyway, those are some really cool kind of ways to get to know your players up there. Not only do you see that they have a crazy, insanely high MMR, but they also have some really cool highlights, like Kogut beating Draco in PGA Tour in 2007, which might have been a long time ago, but still counts.
Of course, it still counts. Like, he's 1-0 now versus Draco, right? Draco's gotta live with that. And I have to point out here that Dandy throwing me some. He's giving me a little bit of credit here because underrated player. He mentioned me and Dragon, so thank you, Dandy. I'll try and hold up the torch for NA.
But yeah, that's a hard torch to carry. So that's it's really cool to see some of the newer or some new information about those players. If you aren't familiar with them, then that's a good way to kind of get to know Kogut and Dandy. And we'll have some more slides about some of our players a little bit later on. We're going to be starting out with a match between Dewalt and NeMu. And I think NeMu is kind of the dark horse of this group, which is not to say that he's not a skilled player, but it means that he is a player that that all three other players are just giants of the non-Korean Brood War scene. NeMu might have a little bit of work ahead of him.
Yeah, definitely NeMu is going to be, like you said, the dark horse of this group, but he's very good because he got out of the group that had Terror in it. So
yeah,
he's phenomenal. I like his style versus Protoss. He is really like that 6 hatch before gas. I'd never seen that. Now, I went and watched some ASL games, and I saw Effort had done that. He had done like 5 hatch before gas. So he's definitely a threat. He looked very strong versus Protoss. Now, Zerg versus Terran, he's got 2 of them, so it's going to be very difficult to get through Kogut and Dandy, though.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is like getting through any of these players would just be a big feat for basically anyone. But I can't. I'm looking at this group, and I'm supposed to have an informed opinion, and I'm just like, how do you choose which player doesn't advance there? I think maybe if you have to give a favorite here, maybe Dewalt, just because he's been practicing and playing a lot in Korea. But as we all know, playing Peru to Korea is just not that great an experience when it comes to latency. So I don't know how that's going to affect it, but I just want to get into some of these games because I have to find out how on earth we decide which players advance from what already seems like kind of a group of death here.
Yeah, I'm ready for this now. Our first series is going to be Dewalt versus NeMu, so this is going to be a Protoss versus Zerg. See if NeMu can pull out an upset versus, like you said, probably the favorite for the group.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we're going to have our first match up on Circuit Breakers. So a nice sort of standard map to start things off, and a good way to sort of test and see which one of these players is in better shape. So I think without further ado, let's go ahead and start our first game on Circuit Breakers between Dewalt and NeMu as we begin the BSL Season 6 round of 16. All right, well, welcome once again. Feels like it's been forever, but it's good to be back. So thank you all for joining us for the round of 16 BSL Season 6 in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, Circuit Breakers. Playing from Korea, it is our Russian player, Dewalt.
In the bottom left, we've got the Bulgarian Zerg. It is NeMu. Look at this. Every time I point it out, the Overlord. Going horizontally. It's going to find Dewalt first, so this is already going to be a good scout from NeMu.
How does he know? How does he know? I guess he is actually a true Overlord. Looking over everything. And I want to see, I was casting STPL a couple of nights ago, and we've got this new plague afflicting StarCraft Brood War. And that is the one cannon Protoss players. They go for Pylon, Forge, Nexus cannon. And they just sit there and they're like, no, it's a cannon. It's one cannon. And then they get Zergling rushed and they die, and justice is had once again. We even had a couple of no cannon Protoss players where they go Pylon, Nexus, Forge, and then they just wait. They're just like, no, I'm good. I built no attacking units this game, and they just sit there. So I'm excited to see whether or not Dewalt is good enough to do that, because when he played in STPL for his team, IRK, he won his match by going Pylon, Forge, double cannon, and then Nexus, playing super safe.
Yeah, I don't expect us to have a fast Zergling win for NeMu. Dewalt is definitely not one of those players that's going to be super greedy. I do expect him to do that double cannon, like you said. Now he's going to get off a pretty fast scout, so he sees exactly what's going on. But so this could be that deadly Protoss player you're just talking about, that Nexus no cannon. Those Protoss players, they like to get away with murder if they can.
Yeah, no, they will do anything. But thankfully, you mentioned that the Overlord is scouting horizontally. Unfortunately, you can't just run your Overlord straight in there, so he's going to have to take a safe approach. But he will be able to see that this is coming up. But like you said, we're not going to be seeing an early Zergling kind of win here for NeMu, who is having a more economic opener and not going for any of those crazy Zerg shenanigans.
Yeah, we're just going to have to wait and see how the build's going to unfold for NeMu, because we already pointed out that NeMu is one of those players that will delay the gas, and there's the third hatch for him already. There's no 230 gas. This is already setting up to be like the Eddie game. I think it was versus Sugo, where we had the 6 hatcheries.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we really, it's like, how fast can you build 6 hatcheries? Well, he kind of speed ran that. And actually, I think I was watching in Effort's series in ASL, he found a way to squeeze 3 hatch before pool in. I think it was against the 1-1-1 Terran, but I'm just like, okay, well, you know, if you know that you're going to be safe, you might as well just go for like as many hatcheries as you can, as quickly as you can build them.
Yeah, hard to punish. Greedy play from Zerg. I'm waiting for the day. You're just talking about Nexus with no cannon behind it. When's the day going to happen where Protoss takes a 3rd Nexus before cannons? Like we see Zerg players, they take 3 hatcheries like this, no defense. When's the day I'm going to see top right Circuit Breaker be taken with the Nexus? If that ever happens, I think I might have to switch from Terran, because that's ridiculous.
Yeah, we were playing on some map. I don't remember what it was. Was it Eye of the Storm? I don't remember. But it has like some gates that block off corner bases that are super safe. And we saw an early, super fast 3rd Nexus there in STPL. I can't remember. But yeah, you'd have to have a perfect map for it. But I believe there are Protoss players out there that'll make it happen. But to talk about what's actually happening in the game, just for a little bit, this is Dewalt. He has been known to be kind of a robo player from time to time, but he's just now getting up his robotics facility. And on the other side, there's a Hydra Den coming down at the 3rd base for NeMu.
Yeah, Dewalt saw the gas at the natural. He sees there's no gas in the main. I'm not sure if he saw the Hydra Den at the 3rd base. Well, he's going to see it now because the Zealot's coming in. So this robotics is going to be a direct counter to fast Hydras, and that's exactly what we're seeing from NeMu because there's no lair. He's even getting speed in his Hydra Den now. This Zealot's going to get cleaned up pretty quickly. Probably not even going to get a okay, got 1 kill.
Wait,
but...
what? Is he really going to get out of there? No, he's
no way.
Dead. He was running. The Zealot was running around, getting hit a lot by those Zerglings, kind of uncharacteristically, but still got a drone kill somehow. Man, Zealots are pretty good.
Yeah, they're pretty good, but I'm already worried for NeMu because this robotics, it's done. The robotic support bay is even about to finish, and there's no Hydras out. It's not like NeMu's attacking. What was this? There was a pylon in NeMu's base.
Wait, what?
Wait, but he let the probe live. What does this mean?
Oh my goodness. That probe is still hiding in NeMu's base. He doesn't see it.
Yeah, now...
Is this Zealot gonna get 3 Oh my goodness. Okay. There's no justice in the world.
These overlords are also barely out of range of the probe, so if NeMu starts getting aggressive and Dewalt builds another pylon and gates in his main, okay, now he's showing himself, but that's really weird because Dewalt is not the type of player, I don't think, to really do stuff like that.
Yeah, well, Dewalt, I think he's one of the players that you can count on keeping his probe micro, using his probe micro to keep the probe alive a very long time. But you just almost never see probes just go hidden in Zerg bases. But he did it. Oh, no way he saves this probe. That would be way too insane. Oh, he's gonna snipe it with the drone. That would have been so Gosu. He loses the probe, but it's mission accomplished because it sees the layers on the way. If you get that scout off with a probe and you don't see a layer, then you just start spamming cannons because you know it's coming.
Yeah, so this build from Dewalt, this is so far Sarah Reaver, but because he's got a Citadel, it's not going to be the real Sarah Reaver, the hard commit to Sarahs and Reavers. It is going to be a mix of gateway units. This is very similar, I want to say, to what Snow did in ASL. For the people that have watched ASL, he played on Whiteout, and he had this really, really good Sarah Reaver Mass Gate timing. That looks like what Dewalt's going for now. All the units from Dewalt are very fragile, like the Sarah, the Reaver, and it's not like he's going to have a lot of production just yet, so he's got to be careful with this Reaver. If he loses this Reaver, it's going to cede map control to NeMu, and look at NeMu, he's already hiding a base at top middle. That's not going to be found.
Wow. Yeah, that's actually a really, really cool reaction to this, and it might actually work really well, because if this Shuttle and Reaver get in, and actually wind up dealing a little bit of damage, Dewalt might think that he's in a really great spot, when in reality, there's this base pumping out units and resources on the other side. Now, here comes the Shuttle and dropping the Reaver. It's not scouted, 3 drone kills instantly, and there's going to be way more where that came from.
Yeah, and the defense for NeMu is Lings, and that's what you want when you're facing...
Oh no!
Reaver. Oh!
Oh! Thankfully, when you run away with drones, it's really hard to get those Scarabs to come off. But look at this! The Reaver's untouched. The Zealot's drawing all the fire, and letting this Reaver deal so much damage.
Yeah, and now Zerglings are running to defend it. The Reaver does. Oh no, the drones!
Oh my god. Oh no! Oh my god. That's so much damage. I don't know how some of those drones survived, but this Reaver, I gotta click on it and see how many kills it has, because it must be about 1 million. 19! No! No! Oh my god, I mean, Snow had a Reaver that had, what, like 52 kills or something? This one's almost there.
This Reaver's just going back and forth between bases. Look at the drone line! At the third, we got 1 drone. Natural's got, what, like 5? There's 2 in the main. We're at 8 drones for NeMu. Not ideal.
You know, Nyoken, I was saying that if he lost some drones, that hidden base would help him remake those drones in a good way. But he's not actually using that third base or that hidden base at all. He has 3 larvae and he's not building any drones because he's at, okay, there he goes. He spams 3 drones at that base. So he is going to have to use that one to try to come back. But man, you know, that's just a long way to go. This is like when you're playing D&D with your really, really cool friends and you ask the dungeon master, how much do I have to roll to swim up the waterfall? It's like, well, you got to roll a nat 20. Well, Nemo's going to have to roll something pretty similar to make it back after having 8 drones.
Yeah, I mean, like, how do you recover from this? Now we got a DT drop, even he's dropping 1 in the... There's no Overlords at either base!
Oh my god.
He can only go to his third, which has no Overlords. Okay, now it has 1, but look at what Dewalt's doing behind this. He's like, I'm just going to end this fool. He's got 9 gates and 2 Reavers waiting.
As soon as I looked back in Dewalt's base and I saw 9 gateways, like, I don't know how he gets all this stuff this quickly. Regardless of actually dealing damage, he also has insane macro behind this. I don't know. What a god. He is taking damage from this lurker.
Yeah, that's 1 lurker hero. No observer yet. Maybe he can change the tide of this game. Is that DT still alive at the natural? It is. It's got 8. It's got 9 kills also.
Oh my god. Well, you know, in my expert opinion, Nyoken, I believe that Dewalt's actually doing quite well this game.
Yeah, he's doing all right for himself. Now, can he bust through the 1 lurker 4 Ling defense at the third base for NeMu? That's NeMu actually has a surprising amount of units despite losing 40 drones, but doesn't matter. There's so many zealots, Reaver combinations.
Yeah, I mean, there's gonna be like more scarabs than units at this point. And yeah, you can just drop these Reavers and basically nothing's gonna be able to deal with them. Plus, like when you have the man loss along with it, everything here is just gonna roll over. And hit in third base or no, there's just nothing here to stand up to this. He's gonna lose the Hydra Den, a lot of his production from these hatcheries, and yeah, everything just blows up to Reavers.
Yeah, so Dewalt is definitely gonna take this and go up 1-0. It's unfortunate for NeMu because I did like what he was doing, but you can't lose 25 drones to 1 Reaver just going base to base, and there is the GG. That was a dominating victory from NeMu, from Dewalt.
Yeah, and I think it's easy to look at that and say, well, you know, the Reaver killed everything, Protoss OP, you know, Omega lol. But it's actually very, very hard to make all of that happen. It takes very precise timing, control, the whole works. And Dewalt is the complete package. Really, really sick to see him win in that way. That's just crazy. And you know, that's it's not just good for Dewalt winning that game. It's also good for your Reddit karma when you clip that play and put it up there, because that's definitely a major highlight. It's a good way to start off BSL round of 16. I'm glad it's back.
Yeah, and I hope that NeMu doesn't let that game affect his mentality, because it is always brutal to let 1 unit literally just destroy everything. So hopefully he can bring it back. Our next map is going to be Benzene. Now, this is going to be a good map choice for NeMu because the third base is very exposed for Protoss. As long as NeMu can stabilize in the early phases, I do think he's got a good shot.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is being able to kind of get up that infrastructure and just say, okay, I'm good. Because in that last game, he did actually get up to 3 bases pretty fast. he just did it by kind of sacrificing a lot of the defense, whether it was not having the Hydras to stop the speed shuttle from coming in, not getting having the Overlord spread or the scouting information to see that shuttle coming. You know, there's just a few little things that you kind of have to check off the boxes for that you won't die to. But it's hard when your opponent's as good as Dewalt is.
Yeah, definitely. And I was paying attention to what NeMu was going for. He had double evolution chamber with Ling upgrades. So that's probably why we saw those Lings out as opposed to Hydras versus the Reaver. So maybe we were a little bit too greedy, powering just a little bit too much. I don't think he's going to let that happen this game, but regardless, I'm ready to see what both these players got for us.
Yeah, well, without further ado, let's get into game number 2 of our opening best of 3 series here. This is a best of 3, so if Dewalt can take game number 2, he will advance on to the winner's match. So let's get into it. Our second game in this best of 3 is going to be on Benzene between Dewalt and NeMu. All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 2 of our opening best of 3 between the player in the upper right-hand corner. In the green, playing Protoss and up 1-0, it's Dewalt.
In the bottom left, we've got the very strong Zerg. It is NeMu. Yeah, now that was a really interesting build from Dewalt because, like I said, usually when you see Reaver play like that, it's usually Ser Reaver, but Snow pulled out a really nice Ser Reaver gateway timing. That's exactly what we saw from Dewalt. So since he just had great success versus NeMu with that build, he may end up pulling it out again, and the Reaver's going to help him take the third base. So I wouldn't be shocked if we see it again.
Yep, I think the biggest thing to watch out for is whether or not he takes close expand. I was kind of thinking about the where he expanded. He took that secret base up top, and I'm just like, okay, you know, you don't always see that, but that's probably going to be safe. And one of the ways that you can make your hidden bases safer is if you take a base that's maybe a little bit more risky. So your opponent's like, I'm going to attack this base that's, you know, really vulnerable, and then they just don't even think, oh wait, there might be something, you know, sneaky out there on the map. So I was kind of thinking about that, but in the end, it was really risky, and it did take a lot to kind of protect that, and ultimately he wasn't able to. So I don't think there's as much flexibility on a map like Benzene because you're pretty much guaranteed just going to take your 3 gas bases. But if he really wants to stay safe, I guess he could expand to mineral only, although that'd be pretty surprising.
Yeah, so we already have a little bit of a differing build from NeMu. He's got an overpool going up, meanwhile Dewalt just going standard Forge Expand. Now last game, we have to say that probe in the base of NeMu was alive until the 6:30 mark. That's an absurd probe scout. And look at this probe, is he even going to get a drone kill? It's at 3 shots, and this probe almost has full health. He's denying the natural so long.
Oh my god, no, don't do it. That's so crazy. Yeah, NeMu went all the way up to almost 500 minerals. That's crazy. You're just really screwing up that timing and the resource expenditure. He was just stuck. Now, that being said, you know, NeMu does have a ton of drones, and as soon as he eschews this probe out of his base, or ushers this probe out of his base, as long as he does actually do that, he will be safe to maybe try something a little bit surprising. But man, Dewalt just so good at keeping this guy alive.
Yeah, and Dewalt sees that it's only 2 lanes, so he went Nexus before cannon. He's completely safe. It's no double cannon. He doesn't even have to worry about pulling probes. But there is the hatchery for NeMu at the mineral only, and this is a 3-minute gas, so this is going to be more standard. It's not going to be the 6 hatch before gas style that we were possibly expecting.
Yeah, and we are going to see the expo at the mineral only, so this is not going to be a fast 3 gases. I guess you don't necessarily need that, but it is a base that is a little bit easier to defend, at least by ground. So you're going to be able to run your Hydras and your Lings up there a little bit more easily. But, you know, we're at almost the 4-minute mark. This probe still doing pretty well. And as our third and fourth hatcheries come up, this is going to be a lot of really important information for NeMu.
Yeah, and to be honest, I just flat out don't see this probe dying. Now, this is a pretty ballsy Hydrogen placement, because you know Protoss is going to see it. But if I'm Protoss in this scenario, I'd be skeptical. Why are you showing me the Hydrogen? But this could be a mind game from NeMu. He might know that, hey, it's not normal to show a Hydrogen, so Dewalt's going to think I'm not Hydra busting, and then NeMu does a Hydra bust anyways. Now that probe was one hit. NeMu's trying to act like he's going to go for a Hydra bust, and that is what he's going for. He is getting speed.
Now this probe needs to run into the natural expansion and see if there's a lair there. Maybe you can morph the lair at the third base, but that's pretty rare. And so he should kind of know what's coming here. With all that scouting information, he's like, okay, and already starting up a cannon back at home. And I think into this, Dewalt should just go straight back to that Reaver build for the hold.
Yeah, and that probe is doing exactly what you were saying. He's looking for that lair. He doesn't see it, so he knows that it's definitely going to be some type of Hydra play, but Dewalt's already ready for this. And as you said, the robotics is already more than halfway done. It's going to be essentially the same game as what we just saw. Now, will we see the big flood of gates from Dewalt? I really do think we're going to see it, because this looks identical to the snow build. This Zealot, he is getting into the natural, gonna go into the main. He's gonna see exactly what's going on. He's already sees Hydras out, so he knows that there's some type of bust coming. But will he see the lair? He does see
yes. Wow, that is Hero Zealot. Perfect. So the Zealot ran by and saw that not only were there no Hydras, the egg counts, there were some larvae that weren't used, if I'm not mistaken. And so that means that you know he's not powering Hydralisks. And that's one of the most powerful things you can do as a Zerg when you are scouted, or when you're unscouted, is you fake that you're going to go for the like a 3-base all-in, and you pull back and drone up from it. But now Dewalt absolutely knows that he does not have to worry about that, because he saw the lair morphing, and even if there are a few Hydras coming out across the map, it's not going to be just a crazy amount.
And I like what Dewalt's doing, because this second Zealot has made it to top left. I have to say that the Overlord positioning for NeMu is a little bit off. Look at this Overlord at the bottom of the natural for Dewalt. Like, he doesn't see any units, any Zealots coming across, and because of that, this Zealot into the third base is getting one kill. A full drone pulse. This is a lot of damage for one Zealot. Now he's going to try and face this Hydra head on. He's going to take him out, I think.
No way.
Even if he doesn't...
How good are... Is he... No! 2 drone kills and a Hydra for one Zealot? Are Dewalt's units just better than other players' units? Like, I don't know. That's insane.
Yeah, and I mean, those drones weren't mining for a long time, so I know this is not 20 kills like last game, but this is still a lot of economic damage. You can see it being reflected in NeMu's build, because his 5th hatch has just started. 4th hatch isn't even done yet. There's a lot of implied economic damage. If I'm NeMu in this position, I think he needs to start thinking about camping. That's exactly what he's doing. He's going lurkers, but we see that Dewalt's already got a Reaver, and if we're going to go for a big Reaver Zealot Dragoon timing, lurkers are not really going to be that great. So I'm already worried for NeMu at this point, but here comes that deadly shuttle.
Yeah, and shuttle speed is about to finish up here before the shuttle's about halfway across the map. And Nyokin, I'm getting a little bit of deja vu here. I've seen this once before. I know what's about to happen. And the shuttle's unscouted.
Yeah, there's only Lings and lurkers. So how do you kill the Reaver? Like, the Reaver's just gonna land, shoot the drones, and leave. There's nothing that can shoot the going in the natural. There's nothing there.
All right, get your G keys ready, chat. Here we go. Okay, never mind. Scarab sucks, but anyway, he's gonna go into the main now. Here we go again. Okay, there we go. We got 2 drones.
Oh.
Whoa! No! All right, you got another one.
I mean, this Reaver, he's tanking lurker shots. He doesn't care.
Oh my god.
He's got like 10 kills already, and again, NeMu, he's powering really hard. He's got his evolution chamber upgrading, but he's not going to survive another.
Oh no!
This is a disaster.
Oh! I knew there was going to be at least one that did crazy damage. And once again, back at home, This guy's powering off of, I think, 5-6 gateways, so this is just sort of the bonus round for this Reaver, because behind it there's still going to be a super solid, gateway push after this.
We got a quick look at that Reaver. I think it said 12 kills. This is going to get more. I mean, this is just
no. Oh my goodness, there's so many just crazy opportunities for this Reaver to get like 25 kills again. I'm just holding my breath every time the Reaver's out here.
What's that Reaver? It's a gift. Oh, not really a gift. It's a one Hydra there. I mean, like, what do you do from NeMu's position? Dewalt, he's got 6 gate. He's got 1,000 minerals. He's going to be busting out pretty soon. He even saves the shuttle and the Reaver, and we see he's got 2 more Reavers. So we're going to have 3 Reavers, like 20 Dragoons, and there's just going to be literally 0 counter.
I'm kind of confused as to why Dewalt gets so many Reavers, but so few Observers. Like, he does actually need an Observer if he wants to bust out of here past the Lurkers. Actually, you know what would be the... I'm waiting. Okay, he's not actually killing all the drones. There's only like 3 or 4 drones here to kill. It's not like it's actually that I don't know, it's a nerf to the Reaver. It's like, well, how can you lose your drones when you just don't have any? Oh, and he snipes it.
Oh, he did get the shuttle, but Dewalt's busting out now. So, Dewalt's looking to just go kill him at this point. We've got like 15 Dragoons, 2 Reavers, really just waiting for the shuttle, and it's going to be go time. And the supplies tell the whole story, because we're getting doubled in supply. There's really no chance for NeMu. Really, I don't think he's droning behind it. He needs to spam as many Hydras as possible, but really doesn't matter at this point. Even if Dewalt, by some disaster, can't bust through, Dewalt can just take a 3rd base.
Yeah, and I think he actually might just take the 3rd base. Dewalt's playing this game so safely. He absolutely knows he's in a crazy advantage right now, and he might just hang back and take a 3rd, or yeah, I think he's probably pretty safe to push at this point as well. Double Reaver in that shuttle. He's got speed, he's got Observers with it, he's got legs, +1 range. It's looking grim for NeMu.
Yeah, and this is... I feel for NeMu because we have Lings that just popped out, but really the Lings are never going to get onto the Reavers, and those are really going to be the killing blow. Lurker Ling versus Goon Reaver. I don't think that's going to work. Another great Reaver shot. Like, they're just constantly connecting. Unfortunately,
it's so...
NeMu...
Oh, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, unfortunately, I think NeMu, he's just going to tap out here. There's just no counter.
Yeah. This is about the hardest counter compositionally that you can get. Like, obviously, there's counters in the early game when you build one unit and it counters another unit, but this is like a whole like game plan counter. Like, NeMu's going for a comp that just was never going to work against what Dewalt was going for. GG, NeMu taps out and Dewalt takes a dominating 2-0 to start off the BSL round of 16 in Group A.
Yeah, that was brutal, and I think if NeMu is going to play that style, you just can't. You can't lose drones because you're going to get punished so hard because the timing's coming. If he didn't lose drones, I do like his build, but as soon as you start pulling from several mineral lines, even losing a couple drones, it's just going to snowball so hard. But nicely done from Dewalt. It looked perfect. And you can see what NeMu wrote. He wrote perfect. So I mean, that just it was amazing.
Yeah, that's about as close. I know in fighting games, if you beat your opponent without taking damage, it's a perfect. And this is about as close as you can get to that. Like, Dewalt did lose a shuttle with a Reaver inside. It's like, okay, well, maybe that's, preventing the totally perfect victory, but it's about as close as it gets. So congratulations to Dewalt. He takes a 2-0 win to advance on to the winners match. Coming up next, perhaps the best match of them all that we could get here. It's going to be Kogut versus Dandy. An absolutely epic best of 3 coming your way when we return. It's a short break. While we are taking a break, make sure to contribute to the BSL prize pool. And while you're doing that, you can check out the awesome BSL round of 16 preview, which is on teamliquid.net. So you can go over and support BSL by doing either one of those things, or just by following or subscribing if you feel so led. So while you guys are doing that, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll come back with our second best of 3 in the round of 16.